The market stinks at the moment. It is a tough real estate market, but we've got some solutions for you. So stay tuned, and we're going to come to you with some awesome buying solutions in this crazy hot market.
Happy Easter, guys. Might be the Monday of a long weekend, but we are still here bringing you Novak news. We've got a really important topic tonight. We are talking about broken-hearted buyers. It is a roaring hot market at the moment, and we're hearing time and time and time again about buyers that are just having their hearts broken. It's tough for them, right? Because as an industry, Mark, and it's quite interesting that we're actually doing this tonight. We chose the topic this morning, but then we've just finished watching A Current Affair.
It was on there,
and it was on there as well. But look, there's no secret here, guys. The market is pumping, and while we're an industry that really promotes record sale prices, we're great at doing that, right? It must really be hard for you buyers out there that are really trying to buy property. I know I spoke with a very disheartened family yesterday, Mark. They'd put forward an offer on a property that I've currently got on the market. Unfortunately, the offer wasn't where it needed to be. And these poor guys had sold in December for a phenomenal price, a beautiful 3-bedroom garden apartment, right? We know that they always do well.
Yep.
And now they're struggling to get into the market. The market just shifted so quickly, no one could predict it.
You know what's hard? The market's designed, agents are designed to try to attract sellers.
Yeah.
They attract the sellers, the buyers come. So it's hard because a lot of these campaigns of these agents are such good campaigns, but for the buyers to actually read those campaigns on social or on media and hear of that, it's killing them. It's killing buyers at the moment.
It must be hard, and I know that there was someone who we work very closely with in the industry, a lovely young lady who's trying to buy a property at the moment, and she'd actually put a post out on her social media. She's very big on social media. She's looking to buy at the moment, and she's like, guys, cut out promoting the record sale prices and how much these properties are selling above reserve. I'm trying to buy at the moment, and it is the most disheartening, heart-crushing situation at the moment when you're hearing that you might have a budget of, let's suggest, 1.5, and all these properties that should ordinarily be selling at that kind of level are selling for sort of 1.8 plus.
It's nuts. It's nuts. But we're going to go through, give you 12 cracker tips for buyers out there. We're going to work on buyers tonight to give these guys help. It seems like the market's doing a lot of work on promoting their sales and over the reserve, but let's do something to try to help purchasers tonight.
Yes.
So we've got some handy tips to give everyone.
We've got some big tips.
And pass this on. If you've got a friend that's buying at the moment, pass this on. Now, this is a live feed as well. So if anyone wants to make any comments, good, bad, ugly, fantastic, incredible, whatever, just make the comments. We'll address them here tonight as well.
And I think before we do move on, and we do have some cracker tips for you guys, but, as an industry, obviously we work for the vendor. Now, it's our job. We've got to list property, right? And so that's why the industry always promotes these record sales. And real estate are very, very good at doing it. Real estate agents are very good at doing it and often forget to tell the story. I'm always saying that. But don't forget to promote the buyer. So my cousin actually has just bought a property after 5 years.
He'll be watching.
Congratulations.
Sure.
I'll bet he's watching.
Yeah, I know he is.
It's been an emotional roller coaster for him. I know it has. And, he said, don't forget the buyers become the sellers. Look after the buyers' agents. I know I always do. I love the buyers because I just love helping people in the industry. But agents, bear in mind, those buyers absolutely will become your clients. So, irrelevant, they're all human beings, buyers, sellers, everyone should be looked after equally. But it's really important that we are looking after the buyers. I just want to tell a bit of a funny story before we get started. I'm not going to mention your name, cousin. I promise I won't. My cousin bought a property after 5 years, and his tactic was And this is a great one, because buyers, don't forget having your own strategy. Don't follow the herd.
Yep.
Make sure you've got your own strategy. Now, his strategy was he was sick and tired of going to auctions. So how did he start the auction?
He was looking for 4 years.
5.
Actively.
5 years.
Actively.
Yes, actively looking for 5 years. And he was open to everywhere, like so many different areas across Sydney, and he had a really good budget. Anyway, he had made up his mind that he was going in to buy this property a couple of weeks ago, and stood up at the auction and said, I just want to make a speech before the auction gets started. I'm going to be buying this property today. I just want to let all you guys know, I'm really sorry for everyone that's come here to bid today, but I'm going to be buying the property, and completely disarmed everybody.
And he was quite honourable.
And he bought it.
It was quite honourable the way he said it was, look, I've been looking with my family. I've lost so many properties, and I've just decided today there's just not a number that's going to stop me. So I'm really, really sorry, everyone. So it's quite humble the way he did it, but it worked.
What a great strategy.
It worked.
So, I think that's got to be number one tactic, is make sure that you're going in with your own individual strategy. When he told me that story, I thought, how brilliant is that?
Haven't heard that.
Cheeky, right? There's nothing stopping you from doing that. So make sure you've got a great strategy. Buyers, listen, this is what I would be doing if I was going to be buying in this market. I would be asking the agents for the last 4 weeks, only 4 weeks, because the market's moving so quickly, of comparable sales in the area. What has recently sold? Let's suggest that you're looking to buy a house in DY. Ask the agent, can you please send me through the last 4 weeks of comparable sales in the area? And you come to your own conclusion of what that figure's going to look like. Yeah?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
All right, so comparable sales.
Look at it don't look at it on a price decision. Look at it as on an affordability and a cash flow decision. And what I mean by that is, now you can fix rates for 5 years.
Yep.
So when you're going to be purchasing, it is very daunting to look at the final sales figure of what you're going to pay, or just the figure that's being thrown out there, even as a guide.
Yep.
But when you look at it as a cash flow number, when you look at it as what you're going to be paying out of your pocket per week on these super low interest rates, it is very, very affordable. Even sometimes if you double that figure because you're being conservative, you go, I'm not going to be paying 2%, I'm going to be paying 4%, and it's still very affordable. Don't be scared. So it's very daunting.
Yeah.
Because we're trained, if you were a millionaire, it was a big figure. So now when we're hearing 1.5 or 1 or 7 or 2, we're going, whoa. But cash flow wise, it's actually cheaper than it's ever been. And if you are worried, you can fix it for 5 years, and the reality is you're going to be paying more in 3-6 months time, even 1 month.
And look, I'm saying to a lot of my buyers, just overpay if you have to, obviously within reason, but overpay if you have to, because at the moment, the way the market's moving, what's looking expensive this week actually looks cheap in 4 weeks' time.
If it's affordable for you.
If it's affordable, absolutely. Absolutely. Apply common sense, please. Now, the other thing is, you've got to arm yourself with some phenomenal tools in your tool belt. Now, one of those tools has got to be a great mortgage broker. Make sure you've got your finance approved, guys.
Yep.
Those people that have got all their finances in order are able to move very, very quickly. That's number one.
Different to what it used to be, because before, offer accepted, let's get evaluation, let's get our approval. It's completely different now. Speed, rapidness, and stuff like that is so important now. You've got to be on point.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Another thing that I like is a belly-to-belly offer-making meeting with the real estate agent. No one does it, and it is genius. Now, do you think you're going to be turned down by a real estate agent when you ring them up and say, I want to submit an offer, and I want to come in, and I want to submit that to you? The agent's going to welcome you to come into the office. 100%. When you get belly to belly with a real estate agent, it opens up the emotional side of the transaction. They will pass that on to the seller as well. So I think it's important to eyeball them, to be belly to belly, schmooze them a little bit, give them your offer, get a feel.
Mark, I had someone do that on Saturday. So I've got a great property that came to market. It's what I call my pre-market, or the industry knows otherwise as an off-market. We're going to cover that in a moment. But someone had asked if they could come in very quickly for 5 minutes and see me on Saturday. It was a really busy day. They walked in with a signed contract, 10% deposit check, and a Section 66W, which waivers all those cooling off periods.
And that's free.
And that is free, and it doesn't commit you. But you know what it did? I looked at it and thought, oh, this is great. And what did I do with it? I went and called my vendor immediately. And you know, but it first of all, it shows sincerity.
Yep.
Second of all, it's extremely appealing as agents when we can go and take a signed contract,
real people,
with
real
a check,
contract, real check,
and sit there with our vendors and have that there in front of us. It's very powerful, guys.
Yep.
It's more powerful than an email with your offer on it. So it's free. It doesn't commit you, but it's certainly getting your foot in the door, and it's a very, very strong strategy to help us help you guys.
Because you can always say, I don't want this exchange. So when we say it doesn't commit you, you can say, here's my check, here's my offer, here's the contract. Don't exchange it until I've given you the okay. But
Great
this shows
advice.
you how serious I am, because people think once it's almost like lockjaw. Once I put it in, no, it's free. It's a really strategic, smart thing to do in this market,
absolutely, it is,
guys.
and
Huge.
That's right. And as Mark said, don't necessarily have to exchange it. You'll still have time to do your due diligence.
Yeah, building inspection.
But it is a very, very strong strategy when we've got that offer there on a contract. Now, just on that, march into real estate offices, guys. Listen to me. And I just did a little interview on this a few days ago on my social media, saying, buyers, maybe you're looking for property in all the wrong places.
Yeah.
All right. Of course, there's the two major real estate portals, being realestate.com and Domain. A lot of the stock isn't on there. So, you know, I'm sitting in front of so many vendors when I'm signing up properties, Mark, and a lot of them are saying, that's unreal that we're going to get this phenomenal price for our property. Where are we going to go? We're worried there's no stock on the market. And I said, no. You're looking in all the wrong places.
Yep.
There is a ton of off-market transactions happening. So transactions that have never formally been advertised. Many of you guys will know that we do stacks of pre-market, goes out onto our social media channels. But industry-wide, Mark, a lot of agents aren't using social media. They're transacting with a property that they've got just on their books and using their database. Walk into the real estate office and ask them, what have you got off market? Please tell me what you've got off market. Buyers agents have got a huge amount of access to that stock.
Now, a good one that a friend told me, this is a cracker. When you're selling something, when you're buying something, mate, you name the price, I'll name the terms. Sounds crazy. Sounds really crazy. You name the price,
I like that.
I name the terms.
I like that.
Now, I'll tell you why that matters, because everyone's so focused on price at the moment. Sellers are so focused. Agents are so focused. Now, if I was a buyer, and I've worked out that the market's moving by 10,000 a month or 50,000 a month in some circumstances, just pay whatever they want. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what do you want? That's your number? Great. I want a 1-year settlement.
Yep.
I want a 6-year settlement. 6-month settlement. So don't forget, you can always dominate the deal. You can always win. You can always win the deal by just not focusing on the dollars only. By talking with the agent, why the owner's selling, and appealing to those emotions. Another good reason to belly.
And you know, a lot of people don't realise you can have a really long settlement. It's all negotiable. So you might say, all right, look, I'm willing to pay an extra $100,000, but I need a 6-month settlement. I need a 12-month settlement. That'll give you ample time to try and get your hands on the rest of those funds.
Yep.
Really great strategy. Absolutely love that. Another great strategy, guys, this is for you buyers out there. I was trying to get a deal together a couple of weeks ago. Beautiful, beautiful home. And the buyer had said to me, Lisa, I want to meet the vendor. I'd like to get face-to-face with the vendor. I want to give them my offer face-to-face. I want them to meet me and my wife and my family. And I want them to understand that this is going to be our forever home. And you know what ended up happening?
Done deal.
Done deal. The vendor said, you know what? I really like you. I know that you're going to be here in this home for the next 20 years.
Dollars went out the window.
Look, we got there on the dollars, don't get me wrong, but they were emotionally invested with these buyers. It had been a family home for these vendors for a very long time, and that was very important to them. That's a great strategy, buyers. Ask the agent, could we please meet face to face with the vendor? Unusual, but absolutely possible. All right, so you've got to start thinking outside of the square here. You must.
So We've done appealing to the emotions.
Yep.
We've done schmoozing your real estate agent. We've done making a meeting offer with the agent.
Crazy strategies.
We've done pen to paper.
Like my cousin who told everyone at the auction he was there to buy the property.
Yep.
I think that's genius.
We've done pen to paper because it's free.
Yes, absolutely.
Overpay in this climate, it's okay. It's okay, but just make sure it's affordable for you guys. But
Yeah.
I've got to say, there are no good buys in 2021. I'm sorry to say, it's going to be premium prices every single sale. So the real estate agents that are out there thinking they're heroes, you're actually not. Actually, the market's actually the hero market at the moment. We are just a byproduct of this wonderful market and what's happening out there. But let's not forget about prospective purchases and looking after
their
emotions.
And also, guys, remember that property is a long-term transaction.
Yep.
So, you know, a lot of buyers are saying, oh, you know, but it's just gotten so expensive. You know, you will look back in time and it will look cheap. I mean, I remember,
100%.
Mark, when we bought our house,
100%.
you know, we knew that we were overpaying at the time. We're like, you know what, we're going to be there for God knows how long. 12 years on, the property looks cheap now. All right. So just bear in mind it's a long-term transaction.
And guys and girls, you may think it's a violent, crazy, pumping real estate market.
Yeah.
But it still hasn't doubled. The average every 10 years it doubles has not happened.
Yeah, it's just
in most
fast-tracked.
suburbs in Sydney.
Yeah.
So if you, and feel free to throw a suburb at me if you want to know, just write in the comments and I'll give you the 10-year data, the last 10-year data on that property. But a lot of the suburbs are at 75%, 85%. DY is getting to 95%.
Yeah,
when it hits 100%, that's double.
Yeah.
So you may think this is a crazy hot market. It's a catch-up market.
It's a catch-up market. I love that. I love that. Well, hopefully that gives you buyers a little bit of reassurance out there, because we were having that discussion the other day, Mark, and you were saying it's just done a lot in the last few months, but it didn't do a whole lot for the years preceding that, and I love that.
Yeah, Lisa asked me and said, what do you reckon? Do you think it's, and look, I think everyone's having that conversation at the moment.
Yeah.
Everyone's going, how much more has it got in it? It can't have that much more in it. Has it got that much more in it?
Yeah.
It's an interesting question, and to answer that directly to the buyers that are watching tonight, of course there's more in the market, because I tell you what's happened has been a sea change and a tree change. Get this, it's 28 million people buying from 28 million people.
Yes.
What happens when 6 or 7 billion people decide they want to buy from 28 billion people? Because Sydney and Australia as a whole is looking pretty hot.
Yeah.
Pretty shit hot. Internationally, we are looking damn good at the moment. So when those borders open, guys and girls, this property market.
Yep, agreed. Now, guys, here's another tip as well. So a lot of buyers are looking for their forever home at the moment. And I've been saying to a lot of my clients, just get your foot in the door, guys. Don't think 15, 20 years ahead. Just think 2 or 3 years ahead. Think, I could buy this property now. It likely will go up in value, or I can add value to it, and then I'm going to flip it again in 3 years' time.
Yep.
But just get into the market. It is moving so fast at the moment that, you know, you really just want to get your foot in the door. And, you know, I think that's really important. So don't be thinking about maybe forever home at the moment. Just be thinking about the fact that you just want to invest your money into the market today and see where that may take you over the next 3 years. Again, Mark, that's what we did when we bought our home.
Yep.
It wasn't a home that, you know, in an area that we were particularly looking to buy in. But again, that market was moving quickly going back 12 years ago. We were only going to be living in there for 2 or 3 years. And here we are 12 years later, still there. So, you know, that's another great tip. Now, arm yourself, guys, as we mentioned earlier, with a great mortgage broker, number one.
A
great solicitor. Yeah.
Don't just use the lawyer, because that's who mum and dad used and now they're retired working from home.
Gosh.
Use the whippy lawyer.
Yes.
You can ask the agent that you're dealing with on buying which lawyer they recommend. Sometimes that may make the transaction more comfortable for the agent and the seller, knowing the lawyer.
But Mark, the agent knows who the great solicitors are. We're exposed to so many of them, guys, and I can tell you now, sometimes the make or break of a deal is actually a great solicitor. Everyone thinks it falls down onto the agent. Not always. I've had some transactions that almost have not happened because we've used the purchaser has used a cheap conveyancer or solicitor that wasn't available when we needed them. The whole deal fell through the wayside. Someone came along with a very snappy solicitor or conveyancer and got the deal done in an hour. So bear in mind that property remains on the market until it's exchanged. All right, that's important to note. So make sure you've got all your ducks lined up.
Yep.
So I just want to reiterate that, Mark. Make sure you've got a great mortgage broker, number one, a great solicitor or conveyancer, number two, not cheap, but great. And also you want to make sure that you've got all your reports ready to go. So pest and building reports, strata reports, make sure they're all ready to go so that you guys can firm up your conditions very, very quickly if need be.
Do you want to buy in a shit market where you're worried what you're going to pay is worth less in 6 or 12 months' time? That's a hard market to buy in. Or do you want to buy in a raging market where you know in 6 or 12 months' time it's going to be worth more? So I get that it's painful for people that are buying at the moment, but it's more painful catching a knife that's falling.
Yeah.
And that's what the market was like only a year ago. And that's what the market was like probably about 3 years ago. So let's be thankful as buyers out there that you do know that whatever you pay, even if you pay a little bit more, it's going to be worth more in years to come once those international borders open.
Well, that's the thing, Mark. The great news is that property time and time again has proven itself to be a phenomenal investment.
Yeah.
All right.
No tax.
A phenomenal investment.
With no tax if you live in it.
So guys, just, offer hard. Offer at the open homes as well. I had many people on Saturday pull me aside and say, here's my offer. I was like, great, can you just send me a text or something in writing, please? But they offered hard. They offered on the spot. They were marching into the office on Saturday with signed contracts, ready to go, checks, all that sort of stuff. But you've got to start thinking outside of the square. If there's one thing that I want to leave you guys with tonight, it is the fact that again, ask the agent for the most recent sales in that area for the last 4 weeks. So if you don't believe the guides, then you come to your own conclusion, guys, on what that price will look like based on recent sales that have taken place in just the 4 weeks.
Don't be using 2 months. Don't be using 3 months.
No, it's moved too quickly. The market's moved too quickly.
Too much. And get belly to belly with your real estate agent.
Yeah, I love that.
Go and see them. Go and meet with them.
Get yourself a buyer's agent.
Give me a kiss.
Get yourself a buyer's agent if you need to, guys.
Yeah.
The buyer's agents are the ones that have access to a lot of the off-market stock. They have access to a lot of it.
That's good.
Right?
We can talk about that tonight. That's an idea.
And
if you're desperado,
you've got to be following our social media, right? I know that we do promote it a lot, but the reality is our off market is what we call pre-market, and it's all there for you guys on our social media. So you are the ones that get the opportunity to see it first before we launch out to those real estate portals. It's free. Why wouldn't you take up that opportunity? It's free for you guys, and it allows you to get your foot in the door first.
And do you want to hear a funny one? If you genuinely need help, just ask for it.
Yeah.
I was with a buyer on Saturday, and I said, mate, I've got 1,600 landlords under management. 1,600. I said, been in the industry for 30 years.
Yep.
I said, do you know how many calls I take? People just asking me for advice or for help.
Yeah.
And he said, mate, you'd be on the phone all day. I said, no. He goes, what do you mean? And I said, he goes, I go, not at all. And I said, like, if we do social media gets lapped up, if we do a landlord evening or we do a client buying meeting in our office, we've done these big parties over the years, hundreds of people turn up for advice, but just ringing up your agent and just saying, hey, I just saw this property. I know it's not through you or maybe through them. Can you just help me? People will always, I had a client that went overseas, very well-heeled guy. He jumped in an RV and went around America. And I said, and he was 65 years of age, super suave, super clever, went hard, went to America for a year. I said, what did you learn? He said, being stupid gets you a long way. And I was like, what do you mean?
I love it.
I go, what do you mean? He goes, mate, whenever I pulled up to a town and I acted like I knew what I was doing,
yeah,
he goes, people would send me in the other direction. But he said, whenever I rocked up to a town, I was very vulnerable, a bit dumb, just asking for help. He goes, it's amazing how many people in this lovely world are willing to help someone in need.
Yeah.
So show that emotion. Don't be a smarty pants. Show that emotion that you need needs, you have needs, you have help, communicate, appeal to those emotions.
Yep.
It's going to get you a long way. And
absolutely,
bring us up if you need some advice.
Absolutely. But guys, be snappy. That, you know, you come up with your own little quirky strategy. As I said, like my cousin did at the auction, where he announced to everyone that he was there to buy the property. It worked. It disarmed everyone. He did end up buying the property, and he overpaid for it, but he was there to buy the property. You know, so think of something that's outside of the square. Connect with agents. Leave your email addresses. We're not going to spam you, 100%. But we're certainly going to let you know about anything that we have that's off market, pre-market. You'd be crazy not to. And you know, as Mark said, get face to face with those agents, offer hard, put your offers on contracts, reach out to buyers agents, and arm yourself with some great people, mortgage brokers, great solicitor or conveyancer. That is gold, absolute golden rule. And make sure that you've got all your due diligence ready to go, reports and all that kind of stuff. That's it. That's a wrap. We're into a really busy week. My gosh, guys, talking about off-market, pre-markets, I have got a ton of stock that is about to hit the market, a ton. So if you're not following our socials, you are crazy.
Get on there.
Absolutely crazy. Have a great week.
Happy Easter, everyone. Have a beautiful week.
See you guys.
Everyone's rested. See you later. Take care.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.